Hola, buen día. The beginning of the year, I posted a video about West Cliff and the landslide that occurred due to the atmospheric river at the time that was flowing over, and there were repeated waves and damage due to the cyclical nature of storms. And it's received over 600,000 views. I don't know if that's my largest one or not in the 2 years I've been on this TikTok, but a lot of people just say this is normal, this is normal, this is normal. And then you get old timers who remember a time when it wasn't normal. And so then I went back because the fact that there's several faults that are underneath it in the cliff that are visible from like with your own eyeballs if you're standing down there. I mean, I went and did a microscopic look and research and found that several fault lines, from the main faults in California stretch all the way over there. And then you can look at the features at the bottom of Monterey Bay, and you can see that that's very dynamic. And then if you look close enough, you can see where past activities as the planet changes has altered the shoreline. And you can see where, California is not going to ever drop off into the ocean. It's rooted down to the ground, right? But I bring this up because of the tragedy that occurred this last week in New Zealand. And I believe it's Mount Maunganui. There was a landslide due to a once-in-a-100-year atmospheric river event that is on its way over right now. We are getting that rain. The rain that was over there, it is on its way to the continental United States. And that region has been experiencing a large number of deep earthquakes, as I've been reporting. I was reporting starting in November that there were serious patterns that were developing, indicating that a large break will be occurring on what I believe would be the western coast of the United States. And also I'm concerned about Japan, Russia, Taiwan, down into Indonesia and New Zealand, all the way down, because of the deep earthquake movement that has been occurring over the last year and the patterns that have been coming from that. I haven't made an earthquake post because if you've been following, in my other videos, I've been saying we're in a holding pattern. The patterns are holding. But the patterns are indicating those breaks are still coming. And so we go back to this landslide in New Zealand. It was a horrible tragedy. 6 people have lost their lives. One moment, they're getting out of their RVs. They're in a swimming pool. They're doing things, just moving. My hands hurt. And the next, they're gone. While I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen to West Cliff one day, this is probably what one day will happen to cliffs like West Cliff. In this last week, I've also reported on the shark activity in Australia and how the bull sharks were so aggressive that there have been over 4 attacks. One of those children have passed on. The 12-year-old that I reported on has passed on. They closed their beaches. And people are like, that's normal. That's normal. I'm from SoCal. That's normal. The sharks are normal. No, the people who lived there said it wasn't normal. Like the people that were reporting, the surfers that surf. Oh gosh, the surfers. The surfers. They say that's not normal, and they were scared to go into water. And from my experience, people over there in Australia and the surfers on that side, they're a little species of their own compared to like a Florida surfer, a California surfer, anywhere else in the world surfer, except maybe Hawaii surfer. I believe that's like kind of a category of its own kind of surfing. But I don't surf. I can't even skateboard. I can't figure out the coordination of it. And I did windsurf as like a 9-year-old, and I could go good in one direction, but when it came to turning something around, I needed assistance, and that wasn't very helpful to the instructor. Oh, my hands. I've been trying to figure out other ways to do things and wearing clothing that does not require my fingers as much as I'm used to. And, if you can't walk, you crawl. So sewing does not hurt. I can't craft on miniatures as I'd like, and I can't paint, and I can't draw, and I can't write. But I found if I hold my pencil like this, I have such beautiful handwriting. I can brag that. I can get something out. And a fountain pen's somehow easier than a normal pen, probably because I don't need to use any pressure. It's any pressure. Right now, this is just this whole area. I got a bone coming out or something right here. I don't even know. And where they put that shot, oh, God, it's like razor blades. So I understand y'all all telling me that that was normal. That's like me saying here, sitting on the west coast of Florida, that hurricanes are normal. We are. We have over 900 miles of coastline. So, and we stick out off two bodies of water, and so statistically we do receive more hurricanes than other parts of the country. It's a fact. But California does not in fact receive as many earthquakes as they've been receiving. They might receive ones and twos, yes, all day, the whole planet, 500,000 of them. They're all the time. They're always going. I don't report on those, or I'd be reporting every single second. I report when patterns are indicating that a larger break's occurring, and there has been a lot of lower movement, but there has not been any big movement, and then that really starts to concern me. So this is an earthquake update. I am still concerned about my areas, my stars of concern. If you've been following me, you know what that means. If you haven't been following me, I will add the current pictures in this, and they'll be out of order, and I apologize. But I am doing things, I am clubbing it at this point. But it works. It's working. And I get to go back to school tomorrow, and I get to see my students. I could cry. I gotta go take care of a little business. I was talking about her and a few other posts, and when I get there, I'll post the update on that. But you know, if you can't walk, you crawl. And I appreciate all your comments on the West Cliff. I now they put in a meme of Dumb and Dumber. Now come on, I was right about what was gonna. I usually don't report on it unless I know about it, and if I make a mistake, I will correct it. And when you're correcting me, you can just tell me politely. You don't have to call me names. I mean, I'm just not really. It's not really necessary. The world would be such a nicer place if we didn't call people names that are not nice. I like nice. I like being nice. I'm always achieving or trying to achieve being nice. It does not always work. But I'm also on the autism spectrum, so sometimes I feel that I'm doing exactly what is socially acceptable, and it's not. And from my conversations to my movements, my mannerisms, to anything else about me. And I'm going to close this with a heartfelt thank you. I do not have friends. Like, life is not like the show Friends, which I never watched, so I never got any of the jokes, but I do know the No Soup for You. And I know that my principal of 10 years told me that I danced like one of the characters, and I wasn't allowed to dance in public. And so I've worked on my dancing, and I'll tell you that when I'm in my summer personality, I dance in public, and I don't care. And people watch, and they ask for my moves. I had moves. Now, they might have been making fun of me. They could have been making fun of me, and I wouldn't have known it. I would have thought, I even have that on video, me teaching somebody my arm moves. So, I don't know. Thank you. I don't have... if they're not at work and they're not across the street, other than my little sister who messages me every day, whether I message back or not, because she just loves me so much, and I love her so much too, and she's sitting there in Mississippi, and she's going to be sending me some pictures and videos so that I can share them out. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I think sometimes I fill my mind with so much stuff because it can be a really lonely place. And when God said he'd send me an army to help me, you know, we don't always get the message the way, I might have imagined a whole line of people going up and down the street, one by one, taking logs away for me. But it was you. And it was the degraders, the biodegraders in my yard, and it was Mr. Henry. And not done. Can't do a dadgum thing. But my army arrived. And I am so grateful. Take care.